People of Reddit, what's your best NSFW joke? My go-to NSFW joke: an army general is newly stationed in a desert post. On his first day, he calls for a soldier to show him around. While doing this, he notices a camel randomly tied to a tent. He asks the soldier, "Soldier, why is that camel tied to the tent?" The soldier looks awkward and answers, "Well, sir, as you know, there are no women on the base, so, the camel is there for when the men get certain, urges." The general nods in understanding and says, "Well, I don't condone this behavior, but I suppose I understand." A few weeks into the post, the general starts feeling these urges himself. He calls for the soldier to bring the camel to his tent. He then goes outside, gets a stool, and has wild animal sex with the camel. After he's finished, he climbs confidently off of the stool and sees the soldier staring at him, wide-eyed. So the general says with a grin, "Is that how you boys do it here?" The soldier answers, still wide-eyed, "No, sir, we usually just ride the camel into the nearby town where the women are." Shamelessly stolen from the last time someone asked this American professor of anthropology goes to Africa for a year to research the behaviors of African tribes. He meets with the leader of the village and his wife. They quickly become friends. Eventually, the tribe leader's wife becomes pregnant, and they all feast after a hard day of herding the sheep, and the whole village participates in the momentous occasion. Fast forward 9 months, and the tribe leader's wife delivers the baby. It comes out very pale, with white skin. The tribe leader is angry and threatens the professor. "Look at my baby, he came out white. The only white person here is you, so you must be responsible." The professor looks around nervously and responds, No, see, it must have been a defect. The baby's probably albino, like look at the sheep over there, it's black, whereas the others are white. This just happens. Sometimes it's natural. The tribe leader pauses for a moment, then leans into the professor. "Okay, look, I'll stop talking about the baby if you stop talking about that sheep." 3 tourists became lost hiking through the Amazon. After a couple days wandering, they were captured by a tribe of natives. Brought before their chief, the men were informed they would have to pass a trial, or they would be killed and eaten on the spot. With little choice, all men agreed. The chief said, "Our people all provide for the tribe. To pass through our lands unharmed, you must prove you can do likewise. The first phase of the trial is to venture into the forest from whence you came and obtain 10 fruits, all of the same kind. Return to me when you have this bounty, and not before." Terrified, but now with some hope, all 3 men disappeared into the jungle. Later, the first man returned with 10 lemons. Nodding with approval, the chief explained the next phase. "Our people must be stoic to handle the many dangers of the jungle. You must show such stoicism in the face of pain and discomfort. To do so, you must insert each of these fruits, one by one, into your own ass. Should you show any emotion upon your face, your life will be forfeit. Succeed, and you may leave with my blessing." The man looked horrified, but began his task. Lemons 1-3 were the smaller and went in fairly easily, but lemon 4 was fatter and he winced as he tried to force it inside. He was killed and eaten on the long after. The second man returned bearing 10 small grapes. The chief nodded approvingly and informed the man of the second phase. The man seemed a bit relieved and began his task. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As he began to insert the 9th grape into his booty hole, the man burst out laughing. Confused but with grim resolve, the chief ordered him killed and eaten on the spot. Guys 1 and 2 met up in heaven, where the first guy asked the second, "Dude, what happened? You were 2 grapes from freedom." Still chuckling, guy 2 responded, "I couldn't help it. I saw the third guy coming with pineapples." 2 guys were closing up shop at the end of the night. One of them turns to the other and says, "Man, I can't wait to go home and tear off my wife's panties." The other guy says, "Yeah, I know the feeling." The first guy says, "No man, I'm serious. They're killing me." Guy walks into a restroom and sees a man with no arms timidly standing next to the urinal. The man makes eye contact and sheepishly says, "Hey buddy, could you unzip me?" Sure man, he says, and does. "I hate to ask, but could ya, point me in the right direction?" Sure. So the guy takes out the armless man's penis, and it's covered in scabs and pus, is green and black in parts. The guy is horrified and watches the man piss. And sure enough, when he's done, the man says, "Could you shake me off, tuck me in and, zip me please?" Dumbfounded, the guy does, not knowing what else to do. When he's done, he asks, "I hate to pry about how you lost your arms, but seriously, what happened to your dick, man?" And the man takes his arms out of his sleeves and says, "Dunno, but I ain't fucking touching it." Two nuns are riding bicycles. The first nun says, "I don't think I've ever come this way before." The second nun replies, "Me neither. I think it's the cobblestones." What's the difference between a casual dinner party and a pirate? The first one, you come as you are. Two ranchers are driving down a road when they come across a sheep with its head stuck in a fence. The first rancher says to the second man, "I haven't gotten any pussy in weeks." He hops out of the truck and just starts fucking the sheep. The first rancher looks back at the second and says, "Hey, do you want any of this?" The second rancher replies, "Yeah, but do I have to put my head in the fence?" A guy goes to the doctor. The doctor says, "I'm afraid you need to stop masturbating." "Why?" The man replies, "So that I can examine you." Mickey Mouse is talking to his divorce lawyer, and the lawyer states, "You can't just divorce Minnie because you think she is really silly." Mickey responds with, "I didn't say she was really silly. I said she was f-sking goofy." A family walks into a hotel and the father goes to the front desk and says, "I hope the porn is disabled." The guy at the desk replies, "It's just regular porn, you sick fuck." A man's wife goes into a doctor, says there's only one way of reviving your wife, but it's a little unconventional. You go in there and have oral sex with her. The man says, "My God, ... Doctor says, I know, but I've seen it work. The man says, "Okay, doc, I'll try anything. I'm desperate." He goes into his wife's room, closes the door behind him. He comes out 5 minutes later and says, "Doc, I don't think it's as choking." Norm Macdonald. What is the worst part of dildo with the squatters? Back in high school, we had a sex ed class. The teacher walks into classroom with a banana and says, "Today, kids, I'm going to demonstrate how to put on a condom. And I brought this banana because I can't hold an erection on an empty stomach." A man complained to his friend, "My elbow hurts, I better go to the doctor." "Don't do that," volunteered his friend. "There's a new computer at the drugstore that can diagnose any problem quicker and cheaper than a doctor. All you have to do is put in a urine sample, deposit $10. Then the computer will give you your diagnosis and plan of treatment." The man figured he had nothing to lose, so he took a sample of urine down to the drugstore. Finding the machine, he poured in the urine and deposited the $10. The machine began to buzz and various lights flashed on and off. After a short pause, a slip of paper popped out on which was "Have tennis elbow. Soak your arm in warm water twice a day. Avoid heavy labor. Your elbow will be better into evening." As the man contemplated this breakthrough in medical science, he began to suspect fraud. To test his theory, he mixed together some tap water, a stool sample from his dog, and urine samples from his wife and teenage daughter. To top it all off, he masturbated into the jar. He took this concoction down to the drugstore, poured it in the machine, and deposited $10. The machine went through the same buzzing and flashing routine as before, then printed out the following: "Tap water has a dog, has him vitamins. Your daughter is on her and wife is as not your baby get a if you don't stop jerking off. Your tennis elbow will never get better." How do you satisfy an Amish Mennonite? "My ex dumped me, so I took revenge by stealing her wheelchair." Well, guess who came crawling back? Did you hear the one about the guy who put glitter on his balls? That's right. Thanks for watching.